our program, I'm going to pass the time to Scott Friedman and Jenna Stanfield. Scott, I know Scott's out here, so let's bring and welcome Scott into the program. Scott, great to have you here with us at the Bounce Back Summit. Today is the day, right? We're live, right? You're officially on board. And so I'm going to pass the time over to you to tell us a bit about the Bounce Back Summit and inspire us with why we're doing this and what the Bounce Back Summit means.
Sounds good. If you're excited and you know it, clap your hands. All right, I think I heard some good claps out there. Yeah, if you're like me, and I know I am, you are excited. All right, maybe I'm a little bit more excited than you. All right, because we've been working on this Bounce Back Summit, better, stronger, smarter, for quite some time now. You see, we were supposed to be with 18 speakers this past July on a 4-country tour in Southeast Asia, raising money for good causes related to the empowerment and education of children and women. And when that canceled, that's when we knew that we needed to shift to our virtual Bounce Back Summit. So let me tell you how Together We Can Change the World first started. 2008 was a year. About that time, Janice Stanfield and myself had been spending a fair amount of time in Asia for about a decade. And we were touched by the graciousness of the Southeast Asian communities. And at the same time, we were bothered by the pockets of poverty and lack of education in some of these pockets. So we decided we wanted to do something. So we called 4 of our speaking buddies and we said, hey, what do you say we go to Southeast Asia and visit some homes and speak? So we found a Bangkok promoter. Sure enough, we went over, we spoke, we served, we had a great time. And it was so meaningful that we knew we needed to continue. Thus, the start in 2008 of Together We Can Change the World. 12 years later, we have close to 20 causes in 5 different countries, spending over $50,000 a year on some very meaningful causes related to the empowerment and education of women and kids. And in that time, one of the things that we've learned, our most valuable lesson, is that our best use of time and resources is teaching kids relevant skills that they can use to make money, to better their communities, and to break the cycle of poverty. And we built 4 technology centers. And I wish I could tell you all the different projects and causes that we've been involved with for the last 12 years, but we have an exciting program for you today. So I can't tell you all, but I just want to highlight just a few if you would, please. Okay, thank you. Thanks for letting me. First is CCDO, Cambodian Community Dream Organization. I think the founder, Jenny Lipa, and the executive director, Lang Sang Hoi, are with us tonight. Thank you for letting us partner with you to provide fresh water for families by building wells. 1,100 meals per day we help serve at the kids at the different schools in Siem Reap. And very excited about a program that one of our board members, Steve Tillis, started, a dental program where we teach dental hygiene to many of the kids in Siem Reap that go to the schools that CCDO serves, and also checks them out for high-risk dental issues, the kids that may be in pain, and make sure that they get immediate attention. So that's one of our favorite programs that we are currently involved with. Also, there's a wonderful program that we serve in the Philippines called Necole Kalinga. And I can remember vividly this huge vat of soup with vegetables and minerals and vitamins, and going out to a poor community around Manila, and all of a sudden these families would come up, and depending on how large the size of the family would be, how large the container would be. And so they would serve their family every night a nutritious meal, and from this big vat of soup we would serve 300 families, or 300 people within the families, every night with Necole Kalinga. And we also support their education program as well. And thank you, Ron Koo of Food for Good, for partnering with us in this cause. And then there's, right there in Malaysia, one of my very favorites, MSRI, Malaysian Social Research Institute. Refugees flee from all kinds of countries like Sudan, Somalia, Afghanistan, Yemen, to Malaysia because they can get in. But then once they're there, they can't go to government schools. They can't really work unless it's a little bit under the table. So we support refugees in a school there, and we've just provided funding for a computer center that will allow them to get those needed skills where they can support their family and the communities. And that's also where Jana Stanfield, my co-founder, whose birthday it happens to be tonight, and I think is she on with us right now? And, maybe not. So I'm going to tell you just a little about the film school. So it's been Jana's dream to start a refugee film school for there over a year, well, for many years, but it's been in fruition. It happened a year ago, where she has around 10 kids that learn video editing skills and are making money on Fiverr and through different ways to support their families. So there's 3 good causes for you. We do have a theme song called "Together We Can Change the World" that Jana Stanfield wrote. And instead of hearing it live tonight, how about Roshan? Can you cue that up? And can we listen to that? Can we listen to that now? Here it is.
Okay, show her. Let me see.
It starts with one who sees a child in need and asks a friend, how many can we feed? And now there's 2, a power so much greater than we knew. Cause when 2 or more are gathered, together, 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 together we can change the world. 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 And one by one, the blessings multiply and children grow right before our eyes, and goodness knows we'll always have enough when we give love. Love to one another. Together, 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 together we can change the world. 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 When you care and you dare to share the harvest of the seeds you sow, of the life you change, Together we can change the world.
Thank you. Well, that gives you an idea of some of the images that we see on these trips twice a year that we take. And I'm going to turn it back over here in a minute to our partner, the CEO of Leaderonomics, Roshan Thiran. Roshan and I have been working together. I've known Roshan for about 10 years now. We've done 4 big leadership conferences in Malaysia. And what I respect so much about Roshan and Leaderonomics is that they spend countless hours on these leadership programs, but they donate all of their staff time so that 100% of proceeds, like this Bounce Back Summit, go to the causes that we serve in Southeast Asia. It's been a pleasure working with you, buddy. I'm looking forward to the next 12 weeks with you. Take it away.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Scott. And you know, it's exciting. We're going to go have Justin join us shortly. So Justin's going to join us in a little bit. So thank you, Scott and Jana, for that singing. But you know, for the next 5 minutes, I just want to talk you through what Bounce Back is all about, so that we all get a sense of what this Bounce Back Summit is all about. So Bounce Back Summit is essentially a series of features that go on for a year. You know, you have coaches, you have speakers, you have experts, all of them coming to help you transform yourself and enable yourself to have tools and best practices that you can use in your transformation journey. So it's really going to be a number of things. Yes, 100%, as Scott said, 100% of all proceeds for this program will be donated to charities and community initiatives across Southeast Asia. You get 12 inspirational speakers. You have 8 coaching sessions by Justin, who you'll hear in a bit, and Jean Marie, who you'll also hear from in a little while. You'll have 12 Ask Me Anything sessions. I'll explain what Ask Me Anything is in a bit. And then of course, I think that this is probably the worst part of the program. You have Scott and me. Yes, unfortunately, you have to live with me for the next 15 weeks. And Scott, we will be actually giving you daily, also sort of helping you along in your journey. We're going to program manage this whole thing. Best of all, you get 1 year of Necole. And you get to learn together as part of a community. So what does this mean? It means that you get access to Necole, which is an AI-based tool, which I will explain later. You get daily engagement through the Bounce Back community. You get insights. You get weekly coaching. You get Ask Me Anything sessions, and you get to meet and network with so many people that are going to be part of this Bounce Back community, all for that price of 120. So some of you have bought it, some of you haven't. You know, it's still there's still time. You know, we officially start on the 24th of November with Chester Elton. The famous author is going to be our first keynote speaker for the series. Nicole's going to give you some exciting stuff. You know, yesterday I had a couple of participants tell me, hey, we signed up for Necole. There's so much cool stuff in Necole. Every day I get some micro learning, I get some micro skilling, micro inspiration, micro coaching, micro mentoring, and all these sessions, the coaching sessions, the Ask Me Anything sessions, everything's going to be in Necole. So that's something to look out for. It's a cool app that you get to use, not just for the duration of the summit, but for one full year. Now we have a couple of speakers. Jamie Andrews coming on next. Jamie lost all 4 of his limbs, right? Both his hands and both his legs. And yet he didn't give up on life. He decided to continue to become a mountaineer. So you're going to be inspired by Jamie next week. Chester Elton wrote a best-selling book on gratitude. One of the top authors in the world, top researchers, has like 800,000 followers on LinkedIn. I mean, this is going to be an exciting time where we listen to Chester and his deep insights. Mitchell, John Register, Immaculée, Rwandan refugee, a hit for months and months, and finally escaped and wrote a New York Times bestseller, which Oprah Winfrey interviewed her, one of her best guests ever, according to her. Yossi Ginsberg, an adventurer. Jack Canfield, a lot of people know Jack Canfield. Chicken Soul for the Soup author, a famous top leader in the leadership space. And Jim Gray, 13 Emmy Award he has won, a famous broadcaster, and he just released a book that's coming out in the next couple of weeks, I think. It's called Talking to Goats, Greatest of All Time. And he's going to talk about how you too can become a goat. And finally, Juliet Fun and many others. We've got some surprise celebrities that we'll be announcing for our January sessions. So that's that. You know, again, Jean Marie and Justin, I'll introduce them in a little bit. They're going to be your coaches while Scott and I help to facilitate this. And you'll also have some great experts. Paul Larson, an expert and best-selling author, Finding Your Voice. Jonathan Lau, top sales leader. Leslie Morgan-Steiner, Anthony Trucks, Wendy Henson, many more. It's going to have a free session. Ask Me Anything. You can ask them anything, and they will respond to you live. in those sessions. And those are only for those who have the full subscription to the Bounce Back series. The idea is to raise about 200,000 US dollars. Many, there's about 25 different NGOs across Southeast Asia that we want to support through these funds. And I think the moment all of us have been waiting for is really where do we sign up, right? For those who haven't signed up, sign up at bouncebacksummit.org. Just look it up, bouncebacksummit.org, and all the details to the programs are there. We'll put the schedules for the speakers, the schedules for the Ask Me Anything sessions, and all the others will be there, and you will get access to Necole. So that's bouncebacksummit.org. And now I want to introduce our first speaker, a dear friend, a celebrity in South Africa. He runs the CNBC leadership series where he interviews great leaders. He's a TV celebrity. He's a guru. He's a best-selling author. He's up very early in the morning. It's now 4 a.m. in South Africa, and he was up at 3, with all of us. So he's totally dedicated to his craft. A very inspirational person. He's going to be our speaker, and later on for the rest of the summit, you're also going to experience him and Jean-Marie as your coach. And so Justin, I see you on the screen right now. Welcome to the Bounce Back Summit. I'm super excited. I know it's in the dizzy hours of the morning in South Africa right now, and hopefully you're fresh and not jaded. But we're excited to hear you, and we're excited to be inspired by your talk, Unleashing Your Full Potential. So over to you, Justin.
So hopefully you can all hear me now. It is such a privilege to be with you, Roshan. Thank you for that wonderful introduction. Over many years, I've been hearing about this organization, Together We Can Change the World, that Scott and Jana and so many others have been taking speakers from around the world, bringing them to Southeast Asia. And this was the year. This was going to be my turn. I was coming through, and then I got the call from Scott and Roshan saying, well, I guess I didn't need the call. We find ourselves in a global epidemic, and so we're going to do things differently. We're going to put it all online. And I think that is just fantastic, because I guess Together We Can Change the World could have said, well, you know what, together we'll change the world next year, or maybe the year after. But they didn't. They said, we're going to make it happen now. And I am just so excited to get the chance to make it happen with all of you. So if you are ready to bounce back better, stronger, smarter, you are most definitely at the right place. And one thing that I know about people who bounce back is that their destiny is determined not by chance, but by choice. Together We Can Change the World needed to make a choice. Yeah, we can wait, or we can do it, and we can find a new way to do it. And it's about being innovative. It's about being solution focused. And I'm going to share a few more ideas with you today about how, in fact, we bounce back. So let me ask you this. What do you think these companies, and I'm going to try and put them up on the screen if we can, have in common? No, I don't think we're going to make that work. Let me rather shut that out. So, okay, we're going to, here are the companies. What do you think these companies have in common? So it's Microsoft, Airbnb, General Electric, Netflix, Sports Illustrated, Burger King. Well, those are just some of the companies that started during a recession. And so what these organizations prove is that it's less important what's going on out there and a whole lot more important what's going on in here. What each of those organizations have in common is that they were started by founders who were driven by a passion to make a difference, a passion to serve. Just like Together We Can Change the World, that passion to make a difference in the lives of women and children in Southeast Asia. Well, Microsoft, Netflix, they had their passion to serve in their particular way. And it didn't matter what the external environment was doing. They were going to fulfill that passion. And we were conceived in passion. I know. That's not really something that you want to think about, but we were. And so the basis of life is passion. Yeah, for each one of us to be born, there needed to be a union between one seed and one egg. Throughout his lifetime, the average male produced 400 billion seed. The average female produced 300 ova. That's why women sometimes look at men and men never stop looking at women. And now the chances of the particular seed and egg that produced each and every one of us getting it together down some dark fallopian tube will get this 1 in 12 trillion. So I want you to think of the population of the earth of 7 billion people multiplied by 1,800. That's 1,800 planet Earths, each with 7 billion people. And out of all those people, only one is chosen to be born. You were the one. That's the chances of each of us being here. And when you really consider the incredible chance of your existence here on planet Earth, that's when you realize that every day is a great day. Just try not having one. Every year is a great year. Yes, even 2020, and maybe especially 2020. Because as we'll discover, nothing of greatness was ever accomplished without overcoming adversity, without overcoming challenge, without overcoming difficulty. So, we don't get to choose how we die. We do get to choose how we live. So the question is, what are we going to do with the approximately 29,000 days that we have here on planet Earth? If at the end of your life you get to answer the question, was my life a success? What would have had to have happened for you to answer yes? There's an obvious next question, and that is, do you have the keys to your success? Indeed, what are those keys? Who are the people who overcome difficulty, who overcome challenge, who rise up that corporate ladder or start their own business and create something even better? Is it those with the highest IQ? Fortunately for me, it's not IQ. I took an IQ test and I tested negative. What about qualifications, degrees, diplomas? Well, if you think about it, the world is run by dropouts. Bill Gates of Microsoft, Larry Ellison of Oracle, Steve Jobs, of course, of Apple was. Richard Branson of Virgin, he's not a dropout. He never got to university to drop out. And right now the dropouts are saying, yes, I knew it, there's still hope for me. What about work experience? You've been doing the same thing for 30 years. Well, the question is, have you got 30 years of experience? Have you just been repeating the same year 30 times over? So it used to be thought there were 3 key pillars of success: IQ, qualifications, work experience. But now we know, in fact, that's not it. So thinking about the stars that you know, all the stars out there, the most successful people, what are the qualities that they possess? I want you to really think about it. What are the qualities that they possess? Passion, yeah. You know, passion is an interesting word. I'm a great lover of words, the etymology of words. What does the word passion mean? Apparently it's got nothing to do with having more office romance, even though you might think that. No, in fact, the word passion comes from the Latin meaning to suffer, as in the passion of the Christ. So why is this word that originally meant suffering the word that we use to talk about what's required to get ahead? I mean, is that what our bosses want from us, to suffer? Maybe. No, the way I understand it is that whatever great big goal you have for yourself, for your organization, for your team, for your community, is there likely to be some suffering along the way, some difficulty, some challenge? You bet. Listen, if it was easy, somebody else would have already done it. Whatever you want to accomplish, no doubt, it's going to stretch you. And so you've got to love what you do so much. You've got to be so committed to the goal that you are prepared to endure whatever difficulty you need to get where it is that you want to go. The work that together we can change the world does throughout Southeast Asia. We're talking 15 projects in 5 countries. I think it's nearly 20 projects now, uplifting women and children. We heard Scott talking about those incredible projects. That's not easy, right? That involves some suffering, some difficulty, but the joy, the love with which I have seen that team in those communities shows you that, yes, it's about passion. It's about being willing to endure the difficulty, the challenge, so that you can be there and connect with those children, with those women, uplifting them and enabling them to achieve their dreams and their well-being. So yes, passion. What else? Determination, persistence, absolutely. In fact, a group of billionaires were asked to sum up their success in one word, and the word that came up more than any other was persistence. Yeah, we think of these billionaires as kind of just being lucky, but actually they probably go through more difficulty and challenge than most of us to get where they want to go, right? So whatever it is that we want to accomplish, we need to be willing to go through, right? To go through those tough times. And the good news is we've all had some tough times this year, right? And I'm going to show you how we can leverage that for our well-being. So there was a study at Harvard University that set out to find the star performers in sport, business, art, and science. Dr. Albert Rottenberg found only one key factor present in the top performers in all these diverse fields, and that was motivation. Stars are highly motivated. What is motivation? Motivation comes from the word motive, and motive means reason. You've got to have a reason. And there's really only two reasons that human beings do anything, and that is pain and pleasure. We're motivated to reduce pain. We're motivated to increase pleasure. Perhaps the most powerful study of success that we have was at Stanford University by Walter Mischel. And he took a group of kids and he put them in a room behind one-way glass. And before leaving them alone, he gave them a marshmallow. And he said to them, here's your choice. You can eat your marshmallow right now, or if you wait for 15 minutes, you can get 2 marshmallows. So you want to see these kids. Some of them just gulp down the marshmallow. Those kids usually land up at the local, in our country, we call it the care school. In other words, they need some serious care for their issues. The truth is, I would have landed up there because I would have been that kid who ate the marshmallow, right? Some of them, what they'll do is lick the marshmallow. But the thing is, it's so delicious. They have another lick, and then they start nibbling. Then there's only half the marshmallow left, and the researcher comes in, the kid says, see, it's still there. Those kids usually become politicians later in life. Some of them are really clever. What they'll do is they'll turn their back on the marshmallow, right? Because if I don't see it, I'm not going to be as tempted by it. Yeah? If you're an alcoholic, you don't go into a bar and say, I'm just looking, right? You stay away from temptation. And some kids truly are able to wait the 15 minutes. Now, what they find is that the kids who are able to wait, to delay gratification, tend to be way more successful, better jobs, better salaries, better body mass index, better relationships. Now, if you're thinking of going home and doing the marshmallow test on your kids and they gulp down the marshmallow, don't worry. You don't have to put them up for adoption. There is hope for them and for us. What we need to do is focus on the long-term pleasure of achieving a goal rather than the short-term pain. It's a pleasurable vision of a better tomorrow that motivates us to take action today. Right? Zig Ziglar said, the elevator to the top is out of order. The stairway is always open. But those stairs can be tough, right? Can be challenging. But if you've got a vision, if you've got a compelling vision, yeah, a vision of a better tomorrow, you're going to be motivated. Yeah, that was tomorrow. Together we can change the world. Before they started changing anything, had this vision. This Bounce Back Summit started as what? It started as a vision. It started as an idea. We were talking about this months ago, just as an idea with Roshan and the great team from Leaderonomics, and together we can change the world. And here we are, and that feels pretty cool. This is what I call the magic of manifestation. But it all starts with a vision. What's your vision? What's your goal? And as you look towards what that goal is, what I urge you to do is look at your biggest priority right now in your life. Is it your health? Is it your career? Is it your finances? Is it your family? Yeah, the truth is pain is a motivator as well. And often when we look where we're hurting, where it's sore, yeah, that can be tremendously motivating. And what we're going to ask you to do here at Bounce Back is focus on one thing. This is not going to be an ordinary summit where you come and just we do the sort of data download and you kind of sit there passively and take it on. No, we want everybody on Bounce Back to become a change maker. change maker in their life, a change maker in their family, a change maker in their organization, a change maker in their community, because that's what together we can change the world is, right? Together we can change the world is about making change in these beautiful communities in Southeast Asia, right? But we want each one of us to also start making change, because you've probably noticed when you make change in yourself, that has a ricochet effect. It has this positive impact on your friends, your family, right? The people around you in your community. And in this session, I'm going to be giving you a tool, a very powerful tool. I call it the change tracker, that you'll actually be able to use to start committing to that change. But right now, folks, I want you to already start thinking, what is that one area of your life that you want to change? Because at the end of Bounce Back, at the end of the summit, and yes, this goes on for the next couple of months, I'm going to be introducing you to my coach, Jean Marie. We're going to be doing a coaching session every week. And that's not just going to be us presenting, we're going to be coaching you on that particular area of your life that you want to change, where you want to progress. So right now, I want you to start thinking, what is it that you want to change? Yeah. Is it finally that you got to get into that exercise program, start eating healthily? Is it that, you know, that business that you want to start? Or is it that educating yourself through Necole, right? Through that incredible app, that area of personal development that you're really going to focus on? What is your one area of transformation? In fact, if the chat is open and you're able to chat, I'd love to hear what that is. So I'm going to share with you very briefly 4 keys that you can use to start embarking on that change. And Jean-Marie spoke about one of them a little bit earlier, and that's awareness. You can't change what you don't acknowledge, right? So you've got to know where you are to get where you want to go. And you've got to be real honest about where you are. You know, you've got to take a look in the mirror. Yeah. And one of the best ways to do that is through the SWOT, right? What's the SWOT? Your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities and threats. Really celebrate your strengths, right? Know what you're good at. That gives you confidence. That gives you the energy, the positivity, the verve to get out there and make things happen. So know your strengths. Do not be modest about your strengths. This isn't about telling everybody else your strengths. It's about you knowing your own strengths, right? So that you are motivated and confident. But you also got to know your challenge. I don't love the word weaknesses. I prefer your challenge point, right? So that, what are those challenge points? What are those key areas that you could change, that you could develop? We'll use this summit to do that, because Necole has got probably all the personal development information that you need to build on that block to greatness, right? So it's not a weakness, it's a block to greatness. It's not a SWOT analysis, it's a SPOT analysis. What's your block to greatness, right? You want to be real honest about that. And what is that area, right? So we got to be real aware of where we are at. Okay, that's your first key, awareness. Number 2 is choice, right? One thing I know about people who bounce back is they don't get stuck in blame, right? Blaming the government, blaming the community, blaming their boss, blaming, and we're really pretty good at blame, right? We look at our parents or our teachers or the fact that we weren't breastfed as a child, and we will always find reasons. You can always find reasons why you aren't the person that you're meant to be. But let me tell you this, it's never too late to be the person that you are meant to be. It's never too late, right? To take responsibility. Right? Today, not tomorrow, today. The worst labor-saving device ever invented is called tomorrow. All right? It's about today. It's about saying, I'm going to take responsibility. I'm not going to be a victim, right? One thing we know about successful people is they have what we call an internal locus of control, right? When something happens to them, even something challenging, right? They're saying, what can I do about it? Yeah? How can I change this? People with an external locus of control, they're saying, looking to find somebody to blame, right? But the problem is, here's the problem with blame. When you blame, you give up your responsibility to make things better, right? You give up your responsibility. Henry Ford said, you think you can, you think you can't, you're always right, right? Because if you blame, you're saying, well, I can't. And that becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? So you can't, then you don't, right? But if you say, you know what, yes, maybe I didn't even choose this, because we don't choose everything that happens. That is true. We do not choose we did not choose this epidemic. Okay, we didn't choose the epidemic, but we do choose our response. And that's the meaning of the word responsibility, folks. It is our ability to respond. Together We Can Change the World has been doing this incredible work year after year. When this epidemic came, they made a choice. They chose their response. And that's why we're here. That's why we're here, reaching probably even more people. And that's the beautiful thing with adversity. It often stretches us to accomplish even more. So, first key is awareness. Second key is choice. That means taking responsibility, right? Now, there are people who make it happen. There are people who let it happen. And then there are people who wonder, what happened? When we choose, we make it happen, right? If it's up to be, if it's meant to be, it's up to me. If it's meant to be, it's up to me. And folks, your third key is thought. Thought. There are two main ways that human beings tend to think about anything that happens. We can take a negative, pessimistic view, or we can take a positive, optimistic view. We know that optimists are happier, they're healthier, they're more successful, they sell more, they're far more likely to be an entrepreneur, and they're far more likely to be a leader. Can you imagine a pessimistic leader? Things will never work out. I don't even know why we bother. We may as well give up now. Now, follow me. There's no ways, right? There's no ways. And so what we need from our leaders, by the way, no, not to be lied to, not be told that it's going to be easy or that there's no problem. In fact, people like a mountain to climb. We like a dragon to slay. We like a challenge, right? Because challenge is the way that life educates us, yeah? But what we want from our leaders is to be shown the light, to be told, yes, as tough as it is right now, there's a way through, there's a way over. So I want to share with you quickly 2 tools that you can use to shift to a more optimistic state, because you cannot bounce back if you are negative and pessimistic. You won't even try, right? You just stay back, right? But the bounceability comes with that belief in a better tomorrow. So 2 questions that you can ask yourself, no matter what challenge you're facing. Your first question is, what can I do about it? Write down 5 solutions. You only need 1. It's often a crazy solution with a bit of tweaking that you're able to use. That's part of how we're here with you right now with the summit. Yeah, we had to say, what can we do about the fact that there's an epidemic going on right now and we can't travel to Southeast Asia? Okay, we're going to do this totally differently and maybe in the process reach even more people. So you write down 5 solutions. Now here what research tells us. Often the first solution is not our best solution, or even the second is not our best. That's why we do 5 and even more, right? You only need 1 solution, but you need lots of solutions to get good solutions, right? So you want to get solution oriented. You say, I've hit a brick wall. Okay, what can you do about it? Look for a door, look for a window, get a ladder, climb over, get a shovel, dig your way underneath, get a bulldozer, right? And if you don't have the answer, ask the people around you. This is what I love about the Bounce Back community. Folks, when you sign up for Bounce Back, you're going to become part of a community of people who are focused on changing themselves, their families, their organizations, and their communities. And that means that you're going to have access to these people. So when you're struggling, you've got a challenge, a difficulty in your business, in your family, whatever it is, you're going to be able to reach out to them, reach out to us, right? We're building a community here. This is not just an event. This is not just a one-off, right? This is a community of people who are focused on their transformation and the transformation of their communities. So if you don't have the answer, what can I do about it? You're going to have us. And we're going to share these solutions. And sometimes we're going to come to you and ask you for solutions, because guess what? You've got the solutions too. You are powerful, more powerful than you even know, right? But sometimes we just need to connect with a community who recognizes our power and who can draw it out of us. Okay, folks, your second key question, right, so that you can shift to a more optimistic, positive state is, what is good about it? Now, I know right now you're thinking, Justin, you do not know what is going on in my life. There is nothing good about this, okay? Well, listen, folks, I think as a community, as earthlings on this planet, I think we've all had a pretty tough one this year. But here's what I know what's good about this. There are many things that are good about this. Firstly, it looks like we have a vaccine. Pfizer has a vaccine that has been proven to be 90% effective. By the way, that's pretty much the most effective vaccine gets to. Folks, do you know that we've developed that vaccine in under a year? The last vaccine, the shortest we've ever taken to develop a vaccine is nearly 5 years. That was for months. So we've now taken what normally took at least 5 years. And by the way, that was considered super quick. Often it's decades to a vaccine. We've done it in less than a year. Just think about that expertise and knowledge that we have acquired, that when that next epidemic or disease comes along, we are going to solve it so much more quickly because of what we've learned, right? Because of what we've learned. The greatest thing that ever happened to David was Goliath. Look at where we are right now. Yeah, yes, it would be great to be in the room. I understand we're not in physical room with one another, but the fact is that I'm coming to you from Johannesburg, South Africa at 4:40 a.m. in the morning, and I get to connect with you in the United States, in Southeast Asia, in Europe, in Australia, all over the world, right? And many of you are on this who would not have flown through for this event, for this event where we were going to be planning to have it in Southeast Asia. That means that we're reaching even more people. So there are always upsides. Yeah. For every loss, there is a gain. For every loss, there is a gain. The Dalai Lama says, when you lose, don't lose the lesson. And so when you ask yourself, what is good about this? Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can this make me a better person? How can this build me up? Yeah. How can this stretch me? Yeah. No matter how difficult it is. Bill Gates said the biggest impediment to progress is success, because success makes us complacent. We rest on our laurels. We don't innovate. We don't change. We don't develop. But failure, it kicks us in the pants, and it's sore. I know it's sore. It's painful. Yeah. I've been kicked in the pants a few times this year. We all have, haven't we? But you know what? That's what gets you thinking. Okay, what do I do about this, right? What can I do about it? Yeah, how can I get past this, get through this, get over this, get around this? Yeah, how can I fix this? Bill Gates says success is a lousy teacher. It seduces smart people into thinking they can't lose. Yeah, but failure, and the biggest failures never fail. They sit on the sidelines telling you why it's not going to work, and they're always right. Because how can you score a goal if you don't get on the field? And if you do get on the field and lose, well, yes, as the Dalai Lama says, don't lose the lesson. So what is good about this? You know, sometimes when I ask myself that question, it's easy to say, hey, you know, it could have been a lot worse. You know, they're calling this the greatest global disaster since World War II. Well, I don't know about you, but I'd rather be here than World War II. Yeah, I know, it's been tough, but this is not World War II. They say that a global epidemic of this nature comes about once a century. Well, guys, guess what? The last one was the 2019 Spanish flu. The 2019 Spanish flu killed nearly 50 million people. The coronavirus has currently killed about 1.2 million people. Now, I know we'd rather it killed nobody. But sometimes when you say, you know what, yes, it's bad, but whoa, it could have been a lot worse than it is, we feel a lot better. That makes us a lot more resourceful and more able to go out there and do what we need to. So those are two questions. What can I do about it? What is good about it? Helen Keller said, no pessimist ever discovered the secrets to the stars, sailed to an uncharted land, or opened up a new heaven to the human spirit. Instead, the pessimist will tell you that things are going to get a lot worse before they get worse. The pessimist will tell you that behind every silver lining, there's a big dark cloud. And when the pessimist gets a clean bill of health from his doctor, he's sure to go for a second opinion. Folks, the optimist is not naive. She doesn't ignore problems, but give the optimist a problem. She's looking for that solution. She's looking for that opportunity. She's looking for that breakthrough. And even when she is feeling a little helpless, you know what she does? She goes out and finds somebody to help. If you're feeling helpless, find somebody to help, and you will no longer feel helpless, because it's in helping and uplifting others that we get to help and uplift ourselves. And that's what I love about Bounce Back. And that is what I love about Together We Can Change the World. Because through Bounce Back, you get to do well by doing good. Because when you sign up, right, when you sign up for this event, not only do you get to develop yourself, do you get to transform and change yourself, but you get to develop and transform communities in Southeast Asia, uplifting women and children. And that is the best way to do well, by doing good. So I wanted to share a little tool with you, and I suspect I'm going to have a little bit of a challenge. As you know, I like challenges, to show you this tool. So I think what we'll do is the tool. And
Justin, the tool is on. The tool is on. The tool is on.
Oh,
you can share.
Beautiful. Thank you, Roshan. Thank you. So folks, I just love this. This is called the Change Tracker. And I just love what Leaderonomics, and boy, there's a team at Leaderonomics. Guys, you have done such a great job. They have been working day in, day and night with love and joy. What an amazing team. So a big shout out to Leaderonomics. Thank you, guys. They put this together. I said, guys, can you put this thing together? Because this is what it's all about. And literally, like in a couple of hours, they created this. So this is beautiful. Now, here's the thing. Okay, remember I shared with you 3 tools: awareness, choice, thought. ACT spells act. So awareness, choice, thought. Your 4th key is act. All right. So right now, I want you to write down something that you're going to do. Okay, because Bounce Back is all about making real change. Okay, this is not just about sitting and listening to us. So I want you to write down one thing that you're going to do within the next 24 hours. Bill Gates says if you get an insight or inspiration, do something about it within 24 hours, or the chances are against you ever doing anything. So I want you to write down one thing that you're going to do in 24 hours. So remember, I asked you right at the beginning, what is that one area of your life that you want to change? It could be your health, could be your finances, could be your career, your family, a relationship, something that you know you need to do, whatever it is. Now I want you to write down one specific measurable action that you're going to take within the next 24 hours. Okay, it doesn't matter how. It could be making one phone call. It could be doing a SWOT analysis, looking at your strengths and your blocks of greatness. It could be signing up for Necole, right? And investigating some area of personal development. It could be signing up for this event, right? Making that commitment and actually paying over that money, knowing that 100% of it, every single cent, goes to uplifting women and children. Maybe that's what you're going to commit to doing within 24 hours. Doesn't matter what it is, but I want you to write down one thing. Okay, don't let this be another shelf development course. You take lots of notes, you put them on the shelf gets more developed than you. Okay, so you're going to make that commitment, write down one thing. Now, once you've written down one thing, we all know that if you do one thing, that's great, but hey, if you only brush your teeth once, you're still going to have rotten teeth. You're going to brush them every day to guarantee your dental hygiene. So now that you've written down one thing, I want you to, on your change tracker, and you'll be able to download the change tracker from Necole. This is one of the most powerful tools that we have for personal transformation, possibly the most powerful tool, because transformation happens with accountability. And the change tracker gives you personal accountability. And so we want everyone on Bounce Back to have one of these. And you'll see if you scroll up. So Roshan, I don't know if we can scroll up. Yeah, that's great. Okay, so today is Wednesday. So you'll start on Wednesday. In fact, Roshan, if you can scroll right to the bottom, I'll come to the calendar in a moment. Okay, so you write what you're committing to in that gap at the bottom. So the gap at the bottom is what you're saying. Every day for whatever it is, 10 minutes, I am going to focus on achieving my particular goal. So if it's a health goal, it might be exercise or healthy eating. If it's starting a business goal that you want to start, maybe it's just that I will spend half an hour every day working on starting my business, right? So whatever it is, you put it in that little bottom part, right? That's where your commitment is. That's the change that you're committing to making in your life. Because we're going to come back to you guys at the end of this event. We want your success stories, because you are going to be the inspiration of so many others about what you can accomplish when you make a commitment, right? And when you track your change. So You put your commitments right in that little bottom box. Now, we're starting on, so the day that you start, if it's today, so it's currently Wednesday for me. I think we might be different days depending where in the world you are, but whatever day it is. So for me right now, it's Wednesday. So at the end of the day, before I go to sleep, I go to Wednesday right at the top, and if I've followed through my commitment, I put a cross on that in that little Wednesday, right? I put a little cross there on Wednesday, and then Thursday, tomorrow, I do the same thing. Friday, I do the same thing. If I don't do it, I don't get my cross, right? You can make a cross, you can make a tick, whatever it is that you want. And what we know is that motivates us, because if I didn't get my cross, I don't feel great, and I'm more motivated to make sure that I do something the next day, right? And if I get my cross, I feel great about it, because I'm not great. We're getting some colors in there. Beautiful. Lovely. Thanks, guys. That's great. Exactly. So I do that. So every day I go through, and so the next cross will actually be, okay, so it wouldn't be a diagonal. Yeah, so it would be Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and this is your 30 day, right? So what we know is it takes about 30 days to transform an act into a habit. 30 days to go from an act to a habit. So if you can follow through for 30 days, you know, Aristotle said excellence is not an act, it's a habit. It's what we repeatedly do. That's why most people who start an exercise program give up, because they give up before 30 days. Now, here's what I want to tell you. These 30 days are going to be tough. They're going to be challenging. You're not going to want to do it. It's not programmed into your brain. That's why we have the change tracker, because if you do it deliberately, consciously, if you do it with your bounce back community, you'll follow through for the 30 days. And a beautiful thing happens. After 30 days, you go into autopilot. Then you're doing it automatically. You're doing it without even knowing that you're doing it. But for these 30 days, you need to be conscious, you need to be deliberate, you need to have your change tracker. I would cut this out, put it on your fridge, put it somewhere where you will see it every day. So every day you are being reminded about this commitment that you're making, that you're going to make real change, that you are going to be a change maker, because that's what Bounce Back is all about. It's about being a change maker. But it takes a good 30 days for that change to become automated. All right, great. So thanks, guys. That looks amazing. It is time for me to introduce you to my fellow coach, Jean Marie. What a pleasure it has been to get to know Jean Marie over the past few months. In fact, I have her book right here, which is my bedside reading, and I suggest you all get yourself a copy. It is super, super great. Stop talking, start asking. Jean Marie, hi.
Hello. Great to hear you speak, Justin. Thanks for the intro. I wanted to share a little bit about like what's the rest of the program, because you're going to hear some amazing speakers, just like you've heard Justin, each week. But we all know we can listen, but if we don't take action after we listen, then we don't make change. And so what we're going to do, Justin and I are going to do, is we're going to work with you each week. You'll work with one of us each week, and we're going to help you through the process. So you'll come onto the call, we'll provide live coaching, Q&A, you'll learn from each other, and you'll actually have an opportunity to start working your plan and holding yourself, and we'll help you hold yourself accountable to make that change.
So we get started pretty soon, don't we, Jimmy? We get started next week, and that's where we'll talk a little bit more about how the coaching works. And I think that's what makes this so special, is that you've got the inspirational presenters who are getting you fired up, who are giving you great ideas and tools, but in the coaching, you're going to be then implementing it, being held accountable with your change tracker by myself and Jean Marie.
Yeah, excellent. So we do hope that you join the Bounce Back community, because these coaching sessions are really what differentiates this summit from any other summit that you probably have attended, because we are all about changing yourself and then changing the world.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Justin and Jean, just joining you. There's a ton of questions that are out there from your talk just now. Maybe this is a good opportunity, since we have a little bit of time, to answer some of that question. Would that work?
Sure.
Okay, so first question for Justin. Thank you for the insights. You mentioned earlier on that we have to reach acceptance to start healing. What if we look into the mirror and self-doubt fills our thoughts? What is your advice on the first step to overcome self-doubt so that we can even move forward?
Great question there. Okay, so what is the opposite of self-doubt? Is confidence. And if you want to build your confidence, you need two things. You need competence. Okay, so I'm not confident that I can climb Mount Everest because I don't have the competence to climb Mount Everest, right? So confidence is connected to competence, right? We need to build that particular competency. However, sometimes you get somebody who is really competent, they're really great at what they do, but they still don't have the confidence. And that's because, yes, they lack that self-belief. So it might be that there's a voice in their head that says, hey, this isn't going to work. You're going to mess up. People are going to laugh. Okay. And so we have you noticed that the biggest bully is not in the schoolyard. The biggest bully can be in our own heads, right? And so what we want to do is take over that voice. We want to be our own cheerleader, right? And so when that voice comes, you won't, you can't, we don't want to. It's a little bit like somebody who comes who's a bit of an obnoxious kind of character at a party. Like you can't really shut them up, but you don't have to listen to them. You don't have to listen to them. You don't have to believe them, right? Don't believe your own thoughts. And you can actually supplant that voice with another voice, your cheerleader. So two things. If you want to overcome doubt, it's competence. In that particular area, you want to get really good at it, okay? And number two is be your own cheerleader. So you want to bring in that other voice in your own mind, which is, hey, you know what? You can do it. Oh, and by the way, yes, you will probably fail, but that's good because failure is how we learn, right? We want to fail forward. Failure is just feedback. So even when the voice says it won't work, say, yeah, it's cool. I know, because it's through something not working that we learn how to make it work.
Okay, a couple more questions, and Jean-Marie, feel free to jump in also and answer some of them. The next question: how do we prioritize a goal if we have a few goals or many goals? How do you prioritize that key goal that you talked about?
Well,
do you want to take this,
okay,
Jean?
so I could, yeah, sure. So first off, one of the ways you can prioritize goals that I like to help people with is, where's your energy? What's your level of aliveness? And there's kind of I use in my coaching this kind of alive-o-meter. So on a scale of 1 to 10, as you look at your goals, your priorities, which ones bring you most alive? Now, obviously, there's also, what do I need to work on? What are my ultimate goals and which ones will help me get there the fastest? And what are dependencies? But I do like to bring in that aspect of aliveness, because if we are not feeling alive about it, we are going to be less likely to want to achieve it.
Okay, and Justin, you talked about strengths and weaknesses, but there's a question here: what if you are not that self-aware yet? How do we get to know our strengths and weaknesses, our opportunities and threats, as you mentioned just now?
Our strengths and blocks to greatness. So yeah, awareness comes partly through looking at ourselves, but also through our community. So you want to ask people, and I'll give you a quick way to do this. Write an email to 10 of your close friends, family members, customers, team members, and say, hey, on my journey of personal transformation, I'd really like to know 3 to 5 things that you that you value about me, and 3 to 5 things that you think I could improve on. And both are important, okay? It's not just the improvement, because you want to know your strengths as well. That's also important. For the person before asked about confidence. Confidence comes through knowing your strengths. So get your community to also to let you know what those strengths are, but also let you know where your blocks to greatness are.
Very good. Jean-Marie, we spoke a bit about passion, but this is from Ananti, who's one of our paid participants. I mean, she's the leader of an NGO who signed up for Bounce Back. So Ananti, thanks for signing up, and thanks for your question. So Ananti asks, when we talk about passion, can a passion for something change when we experience a new phase in life?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. In fact, we are growing constantly. I always say, if we're not growing, we're dying, right? So every time we learn something new, we're going through a new phase in our life. So it's completely natural to have our passions shift and change over time. In fact, another way to look at it too is as we get older, we often lose what we're passionate about. We don't connect to it. And so the other thing I would really encourage you to think about is, you know, when you were 5 years old, when you were 7 years old, what did you love to do? And what was it about that was so special? And how can you bring more of that back into your life today?
Absolutely. And Jean Marie, just a follow-on question to that. You know, can passion decrease over time? I'm assuming yes, from what you said. But what do you do when that happens?
It can, but you know, it just depends. There's a lot of reasons why that can happen. A lot of it is, you know, we may be going through a stressful time in our life. Often too, you know, I often can experience with people who have a hard time connecting. What is my passion? Because, you know, so often we are mired in our work. We are working so hard and so long, and we get burnt out. And we lose all that energy that we used to have. And so biggest thing I can recommend is decompress. Take that time for you so that you can start reconnecting with your passion.
Right. And we've got a great speaker, Juliet Fund, who'll be talking about white space and how we can use that to reflect and to renew ourselves. So that's coming up in January, and we look forward to Juliet and her research. Justin, in the 30 days goals commitment that you talk about, is the address one thing that we make to change, right? How do we nail down that one thing?
Well, look, there many things, right, that we need to do to accomplish our goals. But you want to start with one thing, because that one thing will have a ricochet effect. What we know is that people who actually take on a new habit, it could even just be a healthy eating habit, an exercise habit, a cutting out of debt, cutting down their spending, that habit will frequently positively impact every other area of their life. And suddenly you'll be finding that, you know, I've got healthier and now I'm taking better care of my finances and I'm taking better care of my relationships. And so you don't have to do everything at once. You have to do something at once. Okay, so don't get overwhelmed by everything. Just choose one thing. That's why I said to you, that first thing, what am I going to do? One thing I'm going to do within 24 hours. That's going to give you momentum. Yeah, that's going to give you charge. That's going to start getting you sparked and fired up, right? So just get that one thing. And then with your change tracker, make that commitment that every day I'm going to set some time to focus on that particular area of my life.
Fantastic. You know, one last question, Justin or Jean. I mean, thanks, Justin, for your sharing. Interesting that you use SWOT as a personal tool. Never thought of that before. What are your thoughts on using Ikigai as a self-awareness tool?
Roshan, was that question directed at me, or?
Yeah, I mean, either of you. I mean, I think you want to start in. You know, Ikigai is the 4 quadrants, and the sweet spot is in between passion and so he's asking you, you know, Jean, are you aware of Ikigai as a tool?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, yeah. It's you know, again, it's honing in on what is the what's the intersection. The more that you can really hone in on that, then you know kind of where to focus. And then I'll go back to the SWOT analysis because, you know, it is an interesting concept to take what we often think of as something we do in the corporate world and apply it to our own lives. And so, you know, there's lots of ways that we can look at doing that.
Very good. You know, so we you know, thank you so much. I think this Q&A is going to be reflective of some of the coaching that can happen when Justin and Jean do the special coaching for each and every one of you who signed up. So that will be, I think, November 26th in the US. 27, I think, will be a live session with Justin and Jean. So, you know, you'll have weekly coaching with either Justin or Jean. I think they come together for the first session on the 26th, and then after that it's weekly coaching. So I look forward to it. I have a ton of questions for you too, and I think the audience will really look forward to it. So thank you so much for this, Justin. Thank you again for inspiring us with that session, and Jean, we look forward to your coaching with Justin in a bit. I'm going to get Scott Friedman back on screen. So Scott, you know, what do you make of today's session?
it was pretty darn good, I think. A lot of great ideas. If you fill our mind full of all this wisdom, I think there's going to be some shift during the 12 weeks. I hope. Of course, it takes a little bit of commitment to make sure it happens. But yeah, great session today. Very impressive, and yeah, had me asking myself a few questions.
So
I love those. I love the two questions. What can I do to make it? What can I do about it? And what is good about it?
Very good. And to wrap this all up, just one of the things, I know some of you have signed up for the Bounce Back Summit. So if you have, go into Necole. We will be doing a Necole tutorial on Thursday in the morning in Asia, or in the evening, Wednesday evening, and we'll also kick off our first Ask Me Anything session on Thursday. So that's going to happen. And for those of you who haven't signed up for Bounce Back, we want to invite you to be part of this world-class summit and initiative, and we want you to join hands with us to make an impact together. So Scott, any final words as we close out this section?
Yes, I would love to see everybody. We have one more free week next week, and Jamie Andrews, I understand, is an amazing speaker. So I encourage everybody to come on for that. And then hopefully you will all feel strong about committing to your future and to making a difference in Southeast Asia with some wonderful causes. And hopefully they'll become part of the Bounce Back community.
Very good. And Justin and Jean, lots of comments coming in from Rhonda, from others. They truly enjoyed the session. Thank you again, Justin and Jean, for your insights and wisdom. And Justin, just to close out, I'd like to get quick final thoughts from you. One final thing of inspiration or a nugget of wisdom that you and Jean can both share each in 30 seconds, not too long. And as we wrap up this segment, so maybe we'll start with Justin first, a quick nugget of wisdom from you, and then from Jean, and then we'll close it out, and we will have wrapped up Bounce Back Session 1 for all of you. So Justin, over to you.
Thanks, Roshan. Well, really, if we're talking about bouncing back, I think we have to realize the gift in adversity. And I know when you're in the midst of it, it is sore, but this is how we grow. This is how we change. This is why you're here now. You're here right now because you are motivated. You are motivated to make a shift, to make a change. And that means that you are already winning. That means that this difficulty, this challenge is already your gift. Your wound is your superpower.
Great. And Jean?
Yes, and in order to bounce back, you cannot do this alone. And so I want to kind of close with the importance of not only getting support for you to bounce back, but also getting the tools and the coaching for you to think for yourself so that you can then use those tools to apply in the next 30 days and the next months and the months after that. So definitely come join us. It will be worth the time and the commitment, and you'll be actually much happier a month from now as a result of participating.
All right, and so I want to close with this. I think one of the best gifts you can give yourself is the gift of learning, because it's a gift that cannot be depreciated, it cannot be taken away, and it's something that you will have for the rest of your life. So for those of you who have signed up for the summit and who have taken on this special gifting yourself, the gift of learning, congratulations. For the rest of you, this week is Diwali Diwali in India, and many parts of the Hindu community across the world is celebrating. Next week is the week after is Thanksgiving, and then it's Christmas, and we've got a bunch of holidays. In this season of love and giving and sharing, give yourself the gift of learning. If not, gift it to others who you think may find it useful. So for all of you, bouncebacksummit.org, go there and you'll be able to get yourself this gift of learning. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure being with you. We look forward to next week, same time, same place, the Bounce Back Summit Session 2 with Jamie Andrews, who had a horrendous mountaineering accident where his best friend died, and he survived, but he lost all his limbs. But yet he successfully goes out and achieves great things. So we'll see you next week. Thank you very much, everyone. Goodbye from all of us here at Leaderonomics, and together we can change the world. Keep bouncing back, keep bouncing forward. All the best.
Bye, guys.